Hello everyone. Today I want to share an important truth that every man needs to understand to build respect from women immediately. During my research on female psychology and the factors that drive attraction, I came across a saying that made me rethink everything. The hidden truth about men: decode relationships, transform connections. Welcome to Beyond Boundaries. Ladies, have you ever wondered what truly makes a man feel valued? What makes him light up inside, feel deeply connected and completely devoted to you? It's something so simple, yet only 1% of women ever say it. If you start saying it, you might just unlock a level of love and devotion you've never seen before. So, what is this powerful phrase? Before I reveal it, let's talk about the psychology behind what men really crave in a relationship. Men, at their core, have an intrinsic need that often goes unspoken. A deep-seated desire to be recognized for their efforts, to be seen as valuable, competent, and capable. Women, on the other hand, often underestimate just how vital this need is. It's not that women don't appreciate their partners, it's that they assume their appreciation is understood without being explicitly expressed. But men don't operate that way. A man in many ways is burdened by an unrelenting expectation to provide, to solve problems, to stand firm in the face of adversity. Society tells him that his worth is tied directly to his ability to perform, to be strong, to endure without complaint. Yet, in relationships, he often moves through his days without ever hearing the words that affirm his deepest longing, that his efforts are seen, that they matter, that he is, in fact, appreciated. A woman might think, well, of course I appreciate him. He should know that. But that assumption is where everything falls apart. When a man doesn't hear it, when he doesn't feel it, he starts to believe he's failing. It's a quiet, creeping thought that settles into his mind over time. Am I doing enough? Does she even notice? Does any of this matter? When those questions take root, his drive begins to erode. His motivation to give, to protect, to support, all of it diminishes. Not because he doesn't love her, but because love alone isn't enough to sustain effort. Appreciation is the fuel that keeps a man moving forward, that makes him want to go out into the world and fight its battles, knowing that when he returns home, there is someone who sees him, who acknowledges his struggle, who values what he provides. Yet, despite this profound need, only a tiny fraction of women ever verbalize it, not because they don't care, but because they don't realize the weight of their words. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together. Now, let's begin. The simplest phrase, "I really appreciate everything you do for me," has the power to cut through a man's self-doubt like a blade through fog. It lands with force, with gravity, because it's not something he hears often, if ever. When he does, it's as if something inside him clicks into place. His shoulders set back, his posture straightens. He feels, in that moment, like he is exactly who he's meant to be. Here's the reality. Men are not just looking for love, they are looking for purpose. In a relationship, that purpose is deeply intertwined with the idea of being needed, of being useful, of making a tangible difference in the life of the woman they love. When a man feels like his presence, his work, his sacrifices are not just noticed, but valued, it triggers something profound in him. It reinforces his identity, his drive, his desire to be the best version of himself, not just for his own sake, but for hers. A woman who understands this has an extraordinary power in her hands. She can lift a man up in ways he never thought possible, not through grand gestures or extravagant declarations, but through simple, consistent acknowledgement. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe and comment. Claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together. Now, let's begin. I see you. I appreciate you. What you do matters to me. These words don't just make a man feel good. They make him feel needed. A man who feels needed is a man who will move mountains. But when that need goes unmet, when he feels unseen, unappreciated, or taken for granted, something dangerous happens. He doesn't complain because that's not what men do. He doesn't ask for validation because to do so would feel weak, desperate. Instead, he withdraws. He stops trying as hard. He loses enthusiasm. He tells himself that maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe he's just expected to do these things without recognition. Maybe his presence is simply tolerated rather than cherished. This is where resentment begins to build, not the loud, explosive kind, but the quiet, insidious kind that festers over time. The kind that makes a man check out emotionally, that makes him seek fulfillment elsewhere, through work, through distractions, sometimes even through other people who do see him, who do acknowledge him. This is why. Understanding a man's need for appreciation isn't just about making him feel good. It's about sustaining the foundation of the relationship itself. When a man feels truly valued, he doesn't just stay, he thrives. He becomes more engaged, more giving, more emotionally invested. He starts to pour more of himself into the relationship, not because he has to, but because he wants to. And all it takes, all it has ever taken, is simple acknowledgement. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe, and comment, claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together. Now, let's begin. I see what you do. It matters to me. It's so easy, and yet almost no one says it. Men are not purely driven by logic or practicality. They are profoundly emotional beings, though they have been conditioned to suppress that side of themselves. What drives a man forward is not simply the pursuit of success or the accumulation of resources, but the sense that his efforts mean something, that they serve a greater purpose, that they are recognized and valued. And there is no place where this need is more deeply felt than in his relationship. A man does not want to just exist beside the woman he loves. He wants to be her protector, her provider, her source of strength. But the crucial thing to understand is that this strength is not generated in isolation. It is reinforced, nurtured, and multiplied through encouragement. A man will push himself to the absolute limit for the people he loves if he feels that his efforts are appreciated. He will endure hardship, work long hours, fight battles both seen and unseen, if he knows that, at the end of it all, he is coming home to someone who acknowledges his sacrifices. But without that encouragement, without that acknowledgement, his strength begins to wane. He starts to question whether his effort is worth it. He begins to feel invisible, irrelevant. And a man who feels irrelevant in his own relationship is a man who will eventually either retreat into himself or seek validation elsewhere. What so many women fail to realize is that men do not ask for this encouragement outright. They don't sit down and say, "I need to hear that you appreciate me." It is not in their nature to request validation because to do so would feel weak, almost shameful. They have been taught from the time they were boys that a real man does not seek praise. He simply does what is necessary. He fulfills his duty. He carries the weight of responsibility without complaint. But just because he does not ask for encouragement does not mean he does not need it. In fact, he needs it desperately, and when he receives it, it has an almost transformative effect. The moment a woman looks at her partner and says, "I see what you do for me, and I appreciate it," something changes in him. He feels stronger, more capable, more connected. He feels that he is not just moving through life as an individual, but that he is part of something greater, a partnership, a team, a relationship where his presence is not just expected, but valued. And a man who feels valued is a man who will give more, love more, and commit more deeply than ever before. A relationship is not just about love. Love is important, but it is not enough. It must be built on something stronger, something that sustains both partners over the long term. That something is mutual support, the knowledge that no matter what happens, you are seen, you are appreciated, you are not alone. A man does not need perfection from his partner, nor does he expect it. But he does need to feel that he is more than just an accessory to her life. He needs to feel that he matters, that his contributions, his struggles, his victories, no matter how small, are noticed. A strong relationship is one in which both people lift each other up, in which neither person is taken for granted. And yet, too often, this simple dynamic is forgotten. People get comfortable. They stop saying thank you. They stop recognizing the little things. They assume that their partner simply knows how they feel. But the human mind does not work that way. People need to hear it. They need to feel it. And men, despite their outward toughness, are no different. When a man feels truly seen, when he feels that his efforts are acknowledged, something extraordinary happens. He steps into his full strength. He becomes more confident, more engaged, more willing to go above and beyond, not because he is forced to, but because he wants to. He becomes a better man, not just for himself, but for the woman who has shown him that his presence, his efforts, his love are deeply and profoundly valued. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Philosophy of Stoicism for more real,